Welcome to sunny Queensland Moto Park for the penultimate round of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. Located 80 kilometres southwest of Brisbane, this ride park has transformed into a national level top-tier motocross track and is a home state round for so many of our competitors who are chomping at the bit to go racing because, Lee Hogan, it feels like an eternity since round 6.
It sure does, Kate. I hate big gaps like that. I want to go racing. It's so good to be back here at QMP.
Yeah, well, let's tuck into it in MX3. Extremely consistent performance by Byron Dennis, who's pulled a 25-point lead on Jack Mather and Jake Cannon. Can he maintain it?
I think he can. Not only has he been consistent, he's had a lot of wins along the way. Not the best qualifying for him today, but we're getting to the business end of the championship now. I think he's got what it takes.
And in MX2 on the Terra Firma Honda, Wilson Todd made his MX1 debut here last year and also took the MX2 championship early. I don't think Nathan Crawford is going to let him do it this time.
Well, he's got some great memories here at QMP, does Wilson Todd, wrapping up the championship here last year. He's riding so fast at the moment. He looks so comfortable on that Honda 250. I think we can expect more from him this weekend. Does Nathan Crawford have what it takes to go 1-1 here? We're going to have to wait and see.
So exciting. All right, let's take a look at your Michelin track preview with expert commentator Danny Ham.
There is no doubt that the 2023 championship season has been pretty crazy. The riders and teams never know what to expect when they turn up to a race. However, here in Queensland for the penultimate round of this championship, we are greeted with beautiful sunny weather and not a single cloud in the sky. And the track is absolutely pristine at the moment. The crew done an exceptional job getting this ready. And as you can see, turn number 1, we can see the ground, the dirt. It's just beautiful. It's just breaking apart right now, which is going to give ultimate traction a lot of ruts around the track. The start straight, super long. Now this is important because it can sap the power out of the bike. However, it evens up the playing field for the riders on the start gate. You don't necessarily have to be in the ideal start gate to give yourself a chance to get a whole shot here. Straight into turn number 1, you can see behind me, it has a little rise, a little elevation, and it's a double apex turn. And we saw a lot of riders last year go down in this particular spot. So once again, as we always say, starts are crucial, even more so here because of this dirt. If you don't get that start, put yourself in a good position here, it's really going to make your race difficult coming through that first lap.
The track here at QMP, it's phenomenal. It's got a little bit of everything. Now let's start with the soil content. It's got enough topsoil in it that it produces the most amazing berms, but likewise, it's got enough clay in it that it gets some super deep straight line ruts that form up really quite hard pack. We've also got amazing elevation here, great views for the spectators, and lots of passing opportunities. But something that's brand new for 2023 is right behind me here, the Michelin Whoop section. Now this is going to throw a little bit of a curveball to the riders and once again provide some more passing opportunities. Only a handful of corners away from the finish line. Now whether the riders choose to try to get up and skim across the top of these or use a bit of a rhythm technique, and my tip is I think they're going to try to double in, then maybe wheel tap triple and then double out, or perhaps double, triple all the way to the top. Either way, a very exciting part of the track here at QMP.
There will be no shortages of challenges for the riders this weekend that'll really test them, and this soil, the ruts that get developed, especially in this particular area, are really going to challenge them. This jump behind me, we saw no less than 10 to 15 ruts that really challenged these riders, especially later in the day when that sun got low and the shadows presented themselves, made it very difficult for these riders to see. Expect to see that through the rest of the track as this surface is absolutely pristine. And that there is this round's Michelin track preview.
So, quite a few curveballs being thrown at the riders and the teams. Let's see how they tackle it. Let's take a look at the Pirelli lineup. MX2 Moto 1, Wilson Todd, Harrison Foster, Seaton Broomhall out of Tasmania, Caleb Barham, local Queenslander, and Ryder Kingsford.
but Knight, Burns, Fox and Atkinson, we're just going in numeric order here. Ferguson also very fast, Andrews, McLean, McIntosh, Kean. So these guys didn't qualify in these positions. However, this is the run through. Ryan Alexanderson, Minia. There are so many names in this class league that can be up there running at the front. And one to point out, 110, Luke Reardon is back out there for Serco.
Yeah, great to see Reardon out there for sure with the 110 machine.
There we go, the bikes all set. What a sight this is, a big field of MX2 riders getting set for their first hit out Moto #1 today in fantastic weather and a brilliant track for all of them that will really test the skill level of all of these riders. We are only moments away from that board to come up.
Now last year, if we wind the clock back 12 months, Danny, Nathan Crawford went 1-1 here, got a double victory, but it was Wilson Todd that wrapped up the MX2 Championship in Moto1. So how will Moto1 play out here? Moto1 of the Pirelli MX2, 25 minutes plus a lap, 15-second board has just gone sideways, 5-second board up, let's watch for that gate.
Wow, a couple of bikes together in the middle of the track and steam coming out of that bike. Is that Todd to the inside?
It looked like Nathan Crawford there around the outside, but Wilson Todd on the inside almost goes down.
Wow, so it just proved your point there. It could be anywhere on the start gate as the 27 machine runs very wide there. And I think there was Minia that was deep in the field, just coming together with another rider as well. So clearly, the top two guys out in the front with Crawford and Todd will pick up the rest. Look like Connolly on the 88 just sweeping through there as well. Kingsford going through in that position, probably mid-pack, about 10th, something like that. Look how close these riders are together.
So business as usual at the head of the pack. A lot of familiar names. Wilson Todd with the whole shot, Nathan Crawford right there. The battles between these two this year have been fantastic. Brody Connolly, basically never do we see him not inside that top three in the first turn. So very, very usual suspects up here in the top three. Reese Budd likewise.
The only name I can see, or a couple of names I can see a little bit further back, Haruki Okayama back there in 21th across our first timing split. That is unusual for him. And Ryan Alexanderson back there in 23rd. So they've got a lot of work ahead of them. They want to get up there. The 7 hole shot award, of course, going to the #1 machine. And the guy on screen at the moment commanding the lead is Wilson Todd. Now, the mindset here of Nathan Crawford. This was the turning point last year for Nathan Crawford. We've seen how strong he's been in previous rounds. Do we see him just sit in here, start to pick up some lines and take a note of what Wilson Todd's doing, and then maybe later mount a charge, do you think, Lee?
Look, I think this race is pivotal. We have 4 motos left before the championship should be crowned. It may be crowned prior to that. But for Nathan Crawford to have any possibility and to bring it back into his own power as to what happens, he needs to bare minimum at least beat him in this race, right? You got to hope for a little bit of bad luck. But at the moment, Wilson Todd doing what he does best.
Connolly on the 88 machine, just dipping the head there. That roost looks like it is hurting quite considerably as Barham, the 16 machine, had a few weeks off after the last round to get that thumb back into a much better state than what it was the last time he rode. And I said he's been very confident with the way things have been going, showing right now they're in 4th place. We see a few of the riders a little further back battling it out. Our riders really starting to heat things up and learn that track at the moment. Look at Bud tipping it into that left-hander there, looking very comfortable as well. The rider that just never gives in. But impressed here by Reed Taylor.
Yeah, he's doing great here, and his early race speed is phenomenal. Let's hope he can keep it up there. You know, we're going to be edging up towards 25, 26, 27 as we get towards that lunchtime period here at QMP. She heated up yesterday, didn't it, Danny? So you got to feel for these riders here. Rider has gone down. We'll try to pick up who that is. Did it look like? Just trying to...
Maybe a 48.
Yes, that is.
Yep.
Yes.
So...
Fitzpatrick, is that Fitzpatrick?
Mancelini.
No. Yeah, so
sorry.
Back up and running once again. But there we just saw flying past was Brody Connolly. We'll have a look here at the Honda replay. Tipping it into the first part of that first turn. And here into the second part.
The left-hander here, just
a little high side. Elijah Weesey comes through and just manages to miss the back of that motorcycle. So things still close at the front and a little bit of a charge here from Crawford, and nice line.
So learning the track early on, we mentioned it as they were on their side lap. There's a lot to learn in those opening couple of laps to know how this track is forming up. And right now, this is very familiar situation that we've seen before for Nathan Crawford as he just works on the back wheel of Wilson Todd. However, we've seen Todd be able to hold off this pressure in previous rounds. Can he do that again here today, Lee?
Yeah, look, I think he potentially can. So if we have a look at the championship points provisional at the moment, Wilson Todd, 267, we're down to 229. So that 35-point gap will stretch out even further if positions remain the same. But to your point, Danny, Wilson Todd is used to having Nathan Crawford all over the back of him. That was Nelly Ejecto out the front seat.
Just an update on whether there were some changes made before the race, between qualifying and the race. So Wilson Todd, he's gone from a paddle tyre to a mid-soft. A few suspension changes.
Sorry to get on top there. We'll come back to that, Kate, but our race leader has just gone down, lost the front wheel through the left-hander. Now, this is where we talk about the provisional championship points, because now that puts Crawford into a position to gain the most points. And how far back has Wilson Todd dropped? I feel he's going to get up probably in third place, but it wasn't too far back before Barra, Bud and Taylor would have been on the scene.
Well, it's a case of watch this space. As we have a little bit of a look at the Honda replay here, front wheel starts to go, foot dab, comes back, the twist of the hips, twist of the shoulder. He had nothing to push off with that front end, went down. Now, what I wanted to point out, Danny, is, like I said, it's a case of watch this space, because that's no problem whatsoever. He's still in third place. That's no big problem whatsoever. Did he bend up the bike a bit? Is it something terminal? Or is it something that Wilson Todd can perhaps get back onto a little bit of a rhythm, get a run going again, reel in his teammate Brodie Connolly, get back into second place? A few points means nothing in the big scheme of things when you have a 35-point lead. Danny, let's not forget Brodie Connolly still sits in third place overall in the championship, which you get a top 3 for your manufacturer, for your race team, and that's a great job, a job well done. Brodie Connolly does sit some 22 points behind Nathan Crawford, so it's not like he's embroiled in a championship battle at the moment, but as we see, literally, Wilson Todd is all over the back, tries to throw it in around the outside. Beautiful momentum coming into that corner.
Very nice pass there, just kept the speed going in there, broke a little bit later, swept around the outside as they go through the Michelin whoops here. And there's that 223 that you mentioned early in our track piece, Lee, so called it beautifully. But Wilson Todd, after leading this one, dropping it. If we take a look at this, around the outside, here is the replay of Todd making that pass. And Connolly certainly didn't want to do anything there to risk both of their positions. And he felt the pressure there from Todd, so certainly made it very easy for him to get the pass. But the pass was being made anyway. And there is that battle now. It is closed up considerably as Taylor got caught up just a little bit there from the lap rider a few corners ago. It is closed up, so this will be a good one to watch over the next couple of laps. There's still 4 minutes to go. Taylor a little bit loose coming out of there, will not get the drive, but Ferguson does. And that's all it took. Ferguson, though, the intensity around the outside there, he wanted to make sure that pass was made.
What a nice scrub that set that whole thing up. And he'd already, in his mind, he'd already made that pass well before it happened.
Hey, I like the line, some different stuff, and that's potentially why we're seeing quite a charge at the moment. Here's matching the leader's lap times. Here it is again, the mistake by Reed Taylor out of there through a very important part where you need to get the drive, and the move around the outside, beautiful to watch. Big glance back over the shoulder for Crawford that last time around. He will see that he is a considerable lead. Jack Cook is there having all sorts of trouble trying to get himself back onto the bike. We didn't see the crash, but unfortunately we saw the efforts here trying to get back down that drop-off. We might get a replay here, and certainly we do. So have a look to the outside, maybe the front wheel over the top.
Oh, yes,
over the top of the run.
Went over the top and washed out, and then that just caused a...
It's not finished yet, Lee.
Oh.
Just wait a second, unfortunately.
Oh, dear. Okay. Yeah, that was a good 5 or 6 different things that happened to him. He's just like, what just happened to me?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it, when the last lap, all moto, and then that happens.
All that hard work. So last lap board is out now for our race leader, Nathan Crawford. is on that final lap, and what an amazing job he has done on board the factory KTM machine, but a very smart ride back there in Wilson Todd. Just 7.2 seconds back, and he will only lose 3 points out of that 35-point championship lead.
Watching the way he went through those last couple of ruts and how calculated he has been going into it. He is tipped well and truly over, keeping that speed and momentum going through there. Absolute 100% confidence as he tips into them, and it is just like he is on rails going through there. There is no unsettling, no overbalance, underbalance in any of these parts. It's just beautiful to watch. That bike as well, Lee, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like it is handling these bumps very well at the moment. That bike very settled underneath him.
Yeah, everything looking good for Nathan Crawford. You know as well as I do, when you're riding as well as Nathan Crawford is, it makes your bike look good. Even any little imperfections a good rider can sometimes tend to, you know, bluff their way through and make it look quite nice. As we've seen many, many times, Ferris is the master of doing that. But what a moment it is for Nathan Crawford. Likewise, can't speak highly enough of Wilson Todd. A little bit of an uncharacteristic early race crash for him, but to be able to get up, we knew he was going to chase down his teammate, make that pass, get some very nice handy points. It's all about the championship for Wilson Todd at the moment.
And I am still amazed that he has made that paddle tyre work, but he has done a beautiful job there. You notice though, just rolling through those parts as he works his way into the very final turn, and will collect the checkered flag. And a very strong win there for Nathan Crawford. Moto #1 on the Pirelli MX2 goes his way. Wilson Todd, after that small crash, will collect second and some very valuable points. And a solid ride here for the 88 machine, who made some great points also for his championship hunt, just there in front of Ferguson coming across the line too.
Great job for Ferguson, getting to only 3.9 seconds behind Brodie Connolly. So once again, when you're going to ride the way that Brodie Connolly does, letting it all hang out, you need to have superhuman fitness to be able to charge like that right the way to the checkered flag. So we'll wait to see how he handles the second moto, but what an amazing ride for our top 3 place getters, Crawford, Todd and Connolly. And they've got one more race to go, and of course that will be 25 plus 1 lap also. Danny Ham.
Excited to see how Moto2 will play out, and you can see it with the way Crawford came across the line. He knew he needs to be there. He knew he should be there. He truly believes that if he does this, he has a shot at that championship still. As we take a look at those Pirelli MX2 results, of course it was Crawford in front of Todd, Connolly, Ferguson, we mentioned Taylor with a great 5th place back there.
Reese Budd in 6th, Jace Cosford, good ride for him. Didn't mention him too much. Caleb Barham in 8th, Ryan Alexanderson from Riley Fitzpatrick.
Great top 10. Haruki Yokoyama up to 11th place. So he moved through a lot of the field as well. Kingsford, Ward, Minia and Dixon with a good solid 15.
Solid for Dixon. Liam Andrews, our privateer, Brock Flynn.
Kukas managed to come across in 21st after that last late race crash. So good to see that one. But we have Kate down with our winner. Let's head down there.
Nathan Crawford, Moto1 race winner. It was a bit of an opportunity presented to you there by Wilson Todd. Great ride.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, it was an opportunity presented to me, but I was applying the pressure. So I'm not going to say a forced error, but yeah, I mean, I was putting the pressure on and I was right there. I was feeling super tight at the start of that moto. I think I'm definitely starting to feel the effects of the 7 weeks off. Not only that, the track is super gnarly out there. There's a lot of hidden bumps and stuff out there that are quite dangerous, but we're just trying to manipulate our way around there nicely and smoothly, and I'm super happy to get the win for the team. They obviously deserve to be in this position, and hopefully we can back it up for the next one.
You were one of the only people that stayed on the paddle tyre. How did that go for the race?
Oh, I mean, I got a great start, and yeah, I think when you're out there, I think it's just a case of managing it. Like I said, there's a lot of dry hidden bumps out there, but at the same time, there's still quite a lot of sticky mud. So yeah, we're happy with that race, and we'll assess what we're going to do for the next one.
All right, we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Well, what a fantastic race win there for Nathan Crawford, and he will take maximum points into race number 2. Time for a quick break. When we come back, MX3 race number 2.
Welcome back to the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. We're here at QMP and we're just about to get underway with Moto2 of the MX3. But before we do, we're going to go down to Kate Peck, who's with Mark Luksic.
The MX of Nations, aka the Olympics of Motocross, will soon be upon us in October, being held in France. And with me is Mark Luksic. Mark, you are one of the people behind choosing this Team Australia. Firstly, it's a pretty exciting time to be involved in this because we've got so much good Aussie talent around the world. This must be a hard decision for you.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. We're very, very fortunate. We've got, the young Lawrences over in America doing what they're doing, dominating. We've got Mitch over in Europe, and we've got a bunch of great talent here doing the ProMX. So, yeah, we'll deal with that problem when it comes.
Do we have a short list? Can you give us a hint? And how do you get on the team?
How do you get on the team? You perform and do what they do best, is win lots of races, keep fit when the time comes, and nominate, which we've had a great amount of nominations come in, so we've select from those nominations. Yeah.
Give me any tips on who might be in there?
No.
The short answer is no. How do you think they are going to go in France?
Look, we should do really well. The team we're planning should be capable of a top 3 or better. France will be strong. It's in France. They've got a great list of riders to select from. Holland has, Italy has, America, of course. So, but if everything goes right, good starts, good racing, no problems, we're a contender and we're really excited about it.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for chatting, Mark. You look great in the jacket, by the way. We wish the team the best of luck and can't wait to see who you announce.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
Cheers.
What an absolute legend in the sport of motocross, with Glenn Bell's mentor and my biggest mentor throughout my whole career back in the factory Honda days, 92, 94. So great to have a chat there with Mark Luksic. And here we go, drop of the gate and the highlights here for Moto1 of the MX3. And what a start it was for Connor Towell, Danny.
Yeah, fantastic start. We are so used to seeing him up the front off the start, a great starter. But it didn't take long for Cannon to jump in there and be in a position where he can challenge for the lead, which came pretty soon. Squared up here, get a great run through these rollers, and then just watch this scrub. Both boys together. Towell almost going down at that point, though, just didn't quite get it back early enough.
Yeah, Cannon managed to bring that scrub back, no problem whatsoever. Towell landed completely sideways. So here we have the pass made on a great line from Jack Mather, who threw it up the inside of Connor Towell and would try to head off and chase after Jake Cannon. But here we see, watch this, boom, boom, kicked sideways, and that was the end for Connor Towell. A massive crash there.
And we do hope that we do see him out there again. But it was Dennis that was putting the charge on, as he was deep in the pack early on in this race and continued to move forward and really take control of the points in this championship. But this guy, he is trying to close down that gap, and he did everything right with the victory in Moto number 1.
What a race for our eventual winner, Jake Cannon. Fastest in our qualifying earlier on, and was in an absolute league of his own in Moto1. Can he do likewise here? Let's have a look at the Maxxis Tyres lineup. MX3 Moto1, Jake Cannon, Jack Mather, Connor Towell, Kai Woods, Kobe Drew.
Owens, King, Williams, Orlando, Birchall are your 10 top guys that were lining up for this one. We did see Campbell, Williams and Birchall a little bit further back. Orlando didn't have the greatest of race number 1 either. King did get himself a good one. Byron Dennis was 11th quickest earlier on, but he certainly put himself up much higher than that in the races. We get set to get this one underway. Moto number 2 of the MX3. Who will launch out first? We're used to seeing Connor Towell. Can he do it again after that massive crash, or will it be Jake Cannon that gets himself to the turn first? Was that Cannon on the line?
It certainly is a Yamaha back there, and if it is Cannon, he has got a long haul to make it up towards the head of the pack.
It certainly looked like Cannon's colours just here, about to go through bottom of screen.
Liam Owens halfway down that main straight.
So just having a look. No, I don't think it was Cannon. It might have been another rider. Oh, a few riders on the right coming together. Scrappy first lap there is Towell. So great to see Towell is back out there. No, Cannon is in second place. So
we've had riders go down left, right and centre here. And not where you want to go down in the middle of that dust pit there. That one part of the track, it just looks like they can't get water across to.
46 Kobe Drew on screen just a moment ago. He sits there in 5th. He had a massive ride first moto, really closed in towards the end, passed a lot of riders as well, and a fantastic result. Can he, now that he's sitting in a good position, take advantage of this and continue to move forwards as he sits in there behind Woods?
So a little bit of a look here as we first of all check in on our Matrix whole shot with Jack Mather. Fantastic job to him. He currently leads from Jake Cannon in 2nd place. Connor Tao, Kai Woods, Kobe Drew, Seth Birchall just making a quick pass and moving his way up to 6th place. Travis Lindsay in 7th. Deacon Pace, Travis Olander and Campbell Williams rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, but one behind them is Dennis, and he was 14th the last time they went across a split timing setup. Oh, look at this, the challenge for the lead. Mather unable to do the jump there, and Cannon around the outside. Well, how will this play out in the final turn? Cannon, beautiful line. That is some great thinking right there, but Mather still manages to hold on to that position. Fantastic thought process by Cannon. These two side by side, rubbing elbows going into that very final turn.
If you've ever seen a case of red mist in the goggles, it is Jake Cannon at the moment as he tries to round up Mather around the outside. What a passing move.
Wow, I didn't think he was going to get it done, but he has just kept that throttle wide open.
That's a grown man pass right there.
Absolute grown man pass right there. Very good, and puts himself into the lead. And can he stretch this out now? Mather, the closest in the championship hunt with these guys, is there in 2nd once again, as we saw Dennis back there in 11th, now in 9th. Both of these boys will claim, if they stay here, more points over Dennis. But Dennis has himself a healthy lead in that championship lead.
Yeah, he sure does. He still needs to start to make a little bit of time. Let's watch this magic as it happens. Almost loses it, but still doesn't care. Almost bashes elbows, but likewise doesn't care. And then holds it wedged onto the start straight and just leans in on one of the best MX3 riders in the country.
And twice the size of him as
Brilliant.
well. If they came together, I know who was going to win in that one.
Brilliant. He don't care.
Nope. And that's why he sits there in front. Now, Moto number 1, he absolutely ran away with it. Can he do that again, or can Mather latch onto the back and just stick with him, learn some lines, and maybe mount a challenge for this win in this race? And if he does, that should give him an overall as well. So it is very much on the line for him. There is Tao back there in 3rd. Again, so pumped that he is back out there after that really big, scary crash. There is Kai Woods in 4th place, Kobe Drew in 5th.
Nice little slingshot from Byron Dennis out of that RP filters turn onto the main straight once again, setting his sights on Travis Olander just ahead of him. It looks beautiful. His corner speed and flow. You know, you can just watch a rider and you can see when they're in a good flow.
So as those provisional points stood, it was down to 16 points, the difference between first in Byron Dennis in the championship and then Mather. So a big chunk has been taken out, but there's still some time for Byron Dennis to grab a couple more spots and maybe minimise that damage before we go into the last round of Coolum, which, if you have never experienced Coolum, you really need to get there. This will be the last opportunity to get out and feel the vibe, the energy that you experience when you do turn up live to these race meetings. You can't get that on the TV, although we get some beautiful shots here. You just don't get that energy that you get, and I'm sure this last round at Coolum will be something else, so make sure you get your tickets and get down there.
Oh, that's Cooper Rowe, I believe, once again, 277 Cooper Rowe, who we saw had a big crash in the first race. So just want to give a big pat on the back, Danny, to, if positions stay the same as they are at the moment, Kobe Drew will find himself up on the podium with what an amazing ride it has been so far today at QMP.
Well, that was an awkward crash for the rider up the inside.
Yeah, that was just wrong place at the wrong time.
What a ride by this young rider to come out in these conditions, and we've heard it already. This is a tough track today. For him to just come out and absolutely dominate like this, and those lap times are comparable to the MX2. We brought that up last time. Yeah, they're well and truly down.
Pants are further down. I didn't think it was possible to be further down.
How uncomfortable would that be?
I don't think he can. No. I don't even think he realises. He's just eyes like dinner plates, looking across at the pit board. What does it say? you know, maybe put in a request, can we go for 5 minutes extra, because I'm feeling it. I'm having a great time.
He gets asked on Monday, how was your weekend? Yeah, cool, button out, just winning races, you know. Yeah, those bad starts certainly hindered him at the start, but he has not given up at all. That's Mather just there in front of him. He could potentially even score some points on his closest rival, bring it back to 0 loss to him going into the very final round if he gets a clean lap here.
Well, not if he gets passed by Kobe Drew to pass him back again, because he has just got the fire in the belly and he is trying to rebound here. So be careful we don't have a switcheroo here, Byron Dennis, because you want to set your sights up ahead with 1 lap to go. That is a big ask to get up to Jack Mather.
Yeah, but it's some quick lap times there. They matched it the last time around, both of the riders, and I've got a feel that maybe it has been some of the lap riders that have played into this. Drew absolutely surfing around the outside in the dust.
Peeled it into that dust cloud there, didn't he? Here we go. I wonder if Jack Mather even realises how close Byron Dennis is behind. And we're getting into Byron Dennis territory here, this back part of the track. He absolutely loves it.
Yeah, we need to see this guy, though, the guy that is absolutely stretched it out to 18 seconds, and we get a good close-up of the jump down the hill. Shows exactly how dominant he is into the Honda right-hander for the final time in this race. Wow, what a performance by Cannon, absolutely dominating and really stamping that authority, like you mentioned earlier, Lee. Leading into this last race, he is still in this fight and wants to challenge it all the way to the last race.
Latter stages of the race here. What an amazing job he has done. He has got the eye of the tiger and he is locked in at the moment. Jake Cannon with the number 410 on the Yamaha YZ250F, up and over the tricky step up for the last time. Will make his way down the hill, and days don't get much more perfect than this one, making it 2 wins from 2 starts as the checkered flag comes out, and a nice little whip there for Jake Cannon. What an amazing ride today for this young superstar. He will be pumped as he reaches around to pull the pants up.
I have this feeling that he's going to get a lot of exposure on social media after this race. Oh, Dennis has got himself in front of Mather and Kobe Drew.
What?
So what happened to Mather in the last part? Oh no, Drew just behind him at 0.6 behind.
What a race. That was incredible. So he must have made a very, very last moment pass there on Jack Mather. We saw him coming. We knew that was his part of the track. I would have loved to have watched what was going on, but unfortunately, you know, we've got to give credit where it's due with Jake Cannon, follow him through as he gets the win. But I had a funny feeling it was going to be on the cards for him to make that pass on Jack Mather.
Wow, what a race this. This class never disappoints, does it? It's
never
so
fails.
Good to watch.
Incredible ride from Jake Cannon. Incredible ride from Byron Dennis. That was a championship race there.
Yep, great to see, and really looking forward to seeing this one play out at the very final motos of the year at Coolum. We take a look now at the Maxxis Tyres MX3 Moto number 2 results. Of course, Jake Cannon was your winner in front of Byron Dennis. Mather back there in 3rd place, right on that last lap. Kobe Drew, Olander, Woods held on for 6th. Hantis with another good ride. King moved himself up on an 8th on the very final corner in front of Birchall, and then back to Liam Owens.
Liam Owens rounding out the top 10. Deacon Pace in 11th. Seth Shackleton making up a spot to 12th. Campbell Williams back in 13th. Kate Kingsford and Frederick Taylor rounding out the top 15.
So let's head down to our winners with Kate.
P3 for the round, Jack Mather. Whole shot for you. Important championship points, but you look disappointed.
Yeah, it was definitely not what I expected of that race. Got the whole shot, and you know, I just wasn't good enough. I got a bit of arm pump, and 2-3 was the best I could do today.
Well, we've still got another round to go, so good luck. We'll see you in Coolum.
Thank you.
Cheers. Okay, and in P2, Byron Dennis on the gas. What an insane hard charge. Everybody was so excited watching you. Not great starts, but you made up for it.
Yeah, I had terrible qualifying this morning, which didn't help the starts, but yeah, pushed through and ended up second. So yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, how was your race? Was it pretty exhausting out there? I mean, you don't look too gassed.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty exhausted, but yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we will see you in Coolum. The championship continues.
Yeah, we'll do. See you there.
Excellent. Okay, and in P1, Jake Cannon, an incredible performance, absolute domination. We might need to get you some smaller pants, but well done.
Yeah, my pants, I'm having a problem with them, giving everyone a good view. So, but yeah, I'm happy with 1-1 today. So, yeah.
Yeah, you must feel really happy. It feels like something's clicked for you. Is the momentum just following on?
Yeah, I mean, I had the speed. I just couldn't put a day together. So, you know, good starts, rode my race, not many mistakes, and yeah.
Perfect weekend. We'll see you at your home track, Coolum. Can't wait.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, boys.
Jake Cannon, what a bright future that young man has.
Looking at the championship points, Dennis 272 over Jack Mather at 247. So points very similar as to how the day started. Jake Cannon there in third with 226. He's the one that has closed in a bit and is still within a mathematical point chance of getting up there into second place.
Yeah, he's still not quite where he wants to be to try to get that second place from Jack Mather, but the thing he'll be pumped on, the momentum, that racetrack form, you just can't deny it.
Great performance by all of our top runners there. And again, as we said, the MX3 never disappoints. Always an exciting race to witness and watch. And we are so pumped to see how that one is. But before we keep continuing, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Still plenty more action to come. Welcome back to the Penrite ProMX Motocross Championships brought to you by AMX Superstores, and we have just witnessed once again another fantastic MX3 race.
Let's take a look at the Pirelli lineup. MX2 Moto 2, Wilson Todd, of course, Noah Ferguson with a great late race charge, Nathan Crawford, Caden Minia, Reese Budd, Brodie Connolly.
Yeah, Taylor was the 86 machine that had himself a fantastic performance in Moto number 1. Cosford was also up there. Kingsford, Alexanderson needs to get himself a good start because he passed about 30 riders out there in Moto number 1. He needs to do it from the front, and I'm sure he'll be up there battling it out for the top 5 places as well.
We've seen some great privateer races from Liam Andrews so far this year. Can we see another one from him in Moto number 2?
Barham, Yokoyama, Reardon, Luke Reardon making a return to racing here this weekend for Serco Yamaha.
I believe he may have had a big crash, perhaps. I haven't heard, trying to wait to hear a report on that. Let's hope he is okay. However, we are in the starter's hands, and look, one spare gate in between Wilson Todd and Nathan Crawford. Who's going to jump out better? It looks like Crawford got out ahead of Wilson Todd.
Oh, but it's a Yamaha of Bud that's going to get to the corner first, but up the inside and holding it nice and tight was that Crawford that manages to get himself in the front, and it certainly is. So too Connolly.
Todd is mid-pack, by the way.
Yeah, he is deep back there at the moment. So water down again between the break of these races. There's one rider down at the back. Not sure who that one is, of course. Too far for us to see, but I don't believe it's any of our top runners. Have a look through here, see if we can see where Todd is. Oh. There is Alexanderson down in the background.
Many an uphill jump there, just landed completely 90 degrees sideways. Was so lucky to stay on the bike. Reed Taylor with another good start finds himself one position behind Brodie Connolly up there in the top 3.
What a weekend for Reed Taylor, mate. 7 weeks off. He's done something right in this time because he's certainly putting it up there. And then again, truly deserve it on where he is, as we see the 485 come up the inside there. As we look at 7 whole shot award, of course, Nathan Crawford. 485. Caleb Ward.
Caleb Ward, yeah, great start for him. And like we mentioned, or I mentioned a little bit earlier on about Liam Andrews, finds himself up there in the top 8 on board the Spectro Elliott Brothers Honda machine. So doing it for the privateers out there.
So opening laps again, we'll see these riders try and learn this track again. And just be mindful of where they've thrown the water down. Connolly, the big sweep around the outside. There is Taylor. Let's look back and see. There he is. Wilson Todd just dropping through the bottom of the screen.
A little bit of a gap to make his way up to Reese Budd, who will be next in line on board that Yamaha.
So if you are in the KTM band of people. You would be very stoked with the positioning that these riders are on at the moment, with Wilson Todd quite a few points back. As we look at this, here is the replay of Todd just forcefully taking that line away and getting himself up one more. As I was saying, with the way Crawford is in the lead and Todd back quite a few places, that is going to claw back some championship points. But early days right now, as we see Todd starting to move his way forwards.
So, as we can see, he's keeping all kinds of racetrack pressure on the back of Nathan Crawford. Now, somebody back in the pit area, our factory Honda team manager, Yuri Konski, would be watching here with one eye on Wilson Todd and what he's doing, and another eye very, very happy with Brodie Connolly's efforts here, because you keep that pressure on Nathan Crawford and anything can happen. You can force a mistake. That just takes away so much pressure that Wilson Todd might be feeling. Even though he has a monstrous points lead at the moment, the main competitor for him is out of the head of the pack.
So 23 points is that lead at the moment, lead between Wilson Todd and Crawford. But it's not Crawford that's slowed down. He just set his fastest lap of the race. It's in fact Connolly that is the only rider that's dropped himself down into the 154s. So this is genuine speed that we're seeing out of the second place rider at the moment. Can he continue this pace? That's a pretty quick pace to be running for the entire race. If he can do that, this is going to be a very hard fought race for Nathan Crawford. Crawford looks like he might be starting to break Connolly.
It looks the case at the moment, and when you've got this kind of lap speed going on and how easy you're doing it, it looked to me like Brodie Connolly was possibly on his limiter to get those times down. He put a little bit of pressure on Nathan Crawford. Crawford just went, okay, well, I've got a little bit up my sleeve. Not too much, but let's just casually start to wheel away a little bit. I don't want to put myself under too much of a risk of making a crash or a big mistake. He may have even changed up a couple of lines, I believe.
Yeah, so you said he's got a little bit up the speed. Last lap was his fastest lap down into the 54s, so you're exactly right.
On screen at the moment, Reece Budd, a fantastic ride on the Serco Yamaha. He's back there in fourth place and one spot ahead of Noah Ferguson and just one spot behind Wilson Todd, our current championship leader.
So Fitzpatrick, unfortunate for him, he was sitting there in 10th place. He is on the ground just momentarily back up. It was only a small crash by the look of it, but he will drop back a couple of places. So looking like a good top 10 finish there for him, but unfortunately that little mistake will drop it back and go back a little bit further. That looks like Cosford, I think it is, and Ward's still up there with a good one as well, the 485 machine.
As we have a look here, Cosford seems to be having a little bit of a head of steam here as we come into the late stages of the race as he wheels up onto the back end of Reece Budd.
Yeah, he has closed in pretty quick too over that last lap. So what, Cosford, a 56, actually, he's the fastest on track on that last lap. So certainly reeling in Budd there right in front of him. Budd with a 59, Cosford with a 56. Massive difference in time for that last lap around.
Just launching into this section here as he heads down, trying to make a pass up the inside, but he is just all over the track, trying to find somewhere, trying to wheel in around the outside, and makes the pass. That was beautiful.
Wow, that is determination and some confidence right there. He, I like the way going through that dip there, he actually crossed over about 4 ruts to get himself to that outside. So impressive move by him. Here it is, have a look down the bottom here. Watch him just cross. He shouldn't be crossing ruts like that. Just went straight into it. Found himself that nice outside line. I thought that Budd might have been able to push a bit harder, but nope, Cosford, it was always going to happen. They have got a lot of work ahead of them if they want to beat this guy, the 199 machine of Nathan Crawford. Now, we didn't get to see it last year, Lee. Nathan Crawford v. Wilson Todd at Coolum, because by that time, Wilson Todd had already clinched the title, and Crawford just went on and won the race easily. Will we see a great battle between them two? We know that Crawford can ride the sand. We know that Wilson Todd can ride the sand.
Yeah, they're both brilliant. Now, you've got to remember, Wilson Todd, when he wrapped up the title here last year in Moto1 at QMP, got on the 450 straight away. Good qualifying times, but he started well on the 450 in the second moto and just bounced back through the pack. Okay, so he really struggled. Sounded to me like he was riding around in second and third gear, like he was almost on a 250. So he managed to completely change it up in just 1 week's time. Came out and won a moto on the 450 at Coolum. So he certainly knows how to make his way around Coolum. Without a doubt on a 450 he does. I'm sure he does on a 250 as well. So I think you're going to have two riders at their absolute best. We can't understate the fact that Wilson Todd will have a protection mode engaged to try to wrap up that championship. So do we see the best of Wilson Todd when you're trying to wrap up a championship?
Yeah, well, like we mentioned a moment ago, he doesn't need to be setting the fastest lap times out there right now. You know, to maintain that championship points land and stay safe, he just needs to back it down, but he's not. He's not just taking his time. He's not just taking it easy. And I think that's probably going to be the very similar mindset what we see at Coolum as well. Unless he gets a massive amount of points in the first race, then he could possibly back it down in second race and just ride it out, but I just don't see it right now.
As soon as the pressure's gone, we'll see a different Wilson Todd. It doesn't matter who you are. A championship's, you know, is wrapping up a championship. And, you know, obviously, we don't want to speak too highly of our Aussie superstar, Jet Lawrence, but he's a rarity when you look at someone, say, the likes of Eli Tomac in America and his times of, I remember he's had races where he's only needed a top 14 to win the championship, and he'll go around and ride in 16th place, you know, not on purpose. He's not trying to make his fans sweat. He's just feeling the pressure of wrapping up a championship. It doesn't matter who you are, you go into a little bit of a protection mode. Checkered flag comes out, and what a win there for Nathan Crawford on board the KTM machine, keeping it relatively close right the way down to the wire. Brodie Connolly, what a great ride from him. And championship points there in third place for Wilson Todd. He would have loved to have won, wasn't to be. He still holds down a mammoth points lead going into the final round.
We watched a few of the other riders come through. That is, I think it might have been 70 machine, I'm not sure what that one was actually. The 29 machine about to come around. He will be our fourth place rider in Ferguson. And as we can hear in the background, that's surely a KTM down near the podium, I would say.
Absolutely. There we see Nathan Crawford in, bike up on top. Not in any rush to get the goggles off. He's not feeling it too much. And there we go. Pats on the back, and why not? A well-deserved double victory today for Nathan Crawford.
All the celebrations for the riders. We will get a moment to talk to them shortly as they start to try and get some water into them in a very hot day. But what a view it is here at QMP as we take a look at the Pirelli MX2 Moto number 2 results. And it is Nathan Crawford, Brodie Connolly, Wilson Todd, Noah Ferguson, Jason Cosford with a fantastic ride right there. Reese Budd, Caleb Barham, Caleb Ward, Ryder Kingsford, top 10. Great to see that back up there. And also Liam Andrews.
Caden Minia in 11th place. Ryan Alexanderson, Riley Fitzpatrick, Haruki Akiyama.
Dixon also again with another great result. Liam Atkinson back there in 17th as well. O'Brien back there in 20th place. So let's head down to Kate, who has our winners in the podium.
P3 for the round. Wilson Todd on the Terra Firma Honda. Wilson, we haven't really seen you all day, but tell us how your day was. Still a really good grab of points for this championship lead that you are maintaining quite well.
Yeah, day was pretty good. Obviously, I felt good in qualifying. Sorry, first moto, I got out front, and you know, just I tipped over, but not to say that I was the best person, but yeah, I just tipped over and then got myself up and kept going, and just yeah, the goal is I just top 3 in each race now, and just try and put it in eco and get it to the end. So good job to the lads and Terra Firma Honda, Lockie, Yuri, everyone on the team.
Job done. We'll see you in Coolum.
No worries. Thank you.
And in P2 for the round, Brodie Connolly also on the Honda. I know you've been training pretty hard behind the scenes. Great effort today, really consistent performance. How was your day?
Yeah, I'm stoked with my day. This is probably the best round I've had so far, the most consistent. You know, 2 decent starts, so yeah, I'm stoked.
Okay, excellent. We'll see you at Coolum. You're looking forward to some sand?
I'm not much of a sand rider, but we'll have a go.
Okay, excellent. We'll see you there nonetheless. Well done on your P2 and in P1. Huge congratulations. Incredible performance from you, Nathan Crawford, on the KTM. How bad do you want this championship? Because it looks pretty hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously championship, there's definitely a points buffer there. But like I said, you know, yesterday and what I've sort of said for the last 7 weeks, all I want to do is win races. Yeah, obviously we've had a couple of unfortunate mishaps this year, but I think, you know, the team and I have to take an immense amount of pride out of how far we've come since round 1. And Yeah, we worked really well today. My bike got off to 2 awesome starts today, and that's really what helped me. Obviously, you know, this place is a little bit renowned for being hard to pass. But yeah, we had a really, really good day, and I couldn't be more happy.
Been shining in Queensland. Can't wait to see you in Coolum. What can we expect?
Hopefully another, you know, really good weekend like this one. You know, I'm definitely fired up. I feel like I had to silence a few critics in that second moto. So yeah, looking forward to Coolum.
Okay, good work. We'll see you there. Thanks, boys.
We certainly are looking forward to Coolum. It's going to be some crazy racing, and still well within the title hunt is Nathan Crawford. As we look at the championship points for the Pirelli MX2, 284 for Wilson Todd, back to 257. Nathan Crawford Connolly securing some very valuable points today, 230. Reece Budd back there in 4th, Ferguson in 5th, Minia, Andrews, Ryan Alexanderson, Barham, and Jesse Dobson still sits there in 10th place as well. So this is really setting up to be quite the challenging last round for all of these races. Cannot wait to see how this one plays out.
Well, make sure you join us next weekend, August the 20th, as we head to the picturesque sandy circuit of Coolum on the Queensland Sunshine Coast for the final time as we wrap up the 8th and final round of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. We've also got rounds 7 and 8 of the Yamaha Australian Off-Road Championships, presented by MX Store at Kyneton in the South Australian Winery region, which will take place on August the 26th and 27th. And while you're at it, make sure you lock in round 6 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships, presented by Moto, as it heads next to Phillip Island Grand Prix. Well, what a day's racing we've seen here at QMP for round 7 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. On behalf of Danny Ham, Kate Peck and myself, Lee Hogan, thanks for your company. We next head to the iconic Coolum circuit in Queensland for the final round of the championship, August the 20th. Do not miss that one. Goodbye for now.